Welcome. In this lesson, we are going to take a look at some string algorithms. Let's get started. We have two learning goals for today. The first is that you can traverse the characters of a string using a substring and a for loop, and also that you can manipulate strings to solve problems, such as replacing or reversing characters. This may be the very first time that you've heard the word algorithm, and so we should take a moment and define it. An algorithm is basically a recipe or a set of instructions for solving a problem. Say that you want to bake a cake. Well, you would get a recipe for that. And the recipe would tell you what to do step by step, what ingredients to mix with what, how to bake it, etc. And in computer science, we use algorithms to guide how we solve problems. It's more than just learning to code. And so algorithms will be something that we discuss throughout this course. In this lesson, we are going to look at two specific problems dealing with strings, and the first one is word count. So given some text, we want to determine the number of words. Well, we know some things, like the fact that every word ends with a space except for the last one. And that means that the number of spaces we have plus 1 is the number of words. So what we need is an algorithm to count the number of spaces. The algorithm we're going to use has two steps. First, we're going to access each character of the string one by one using a loop. And then for each of those characters, we're going to examine it and see if it's a space. If it's a space, we'll count it. Now that we know what the algorithm is, let's unpack it and see how we can put it into code. We need to access the characters of our string one by one. Remember that we can access a portion of a string using the substring method. We give it a start index and an end index, and it will return that portion of the string. When we use substring, it's important to remember that the starting index is inclusive, but the ending index is not. So if we were to say text.substring 0, 1, it would only give us the first character because the 0 is included and the 1 is not. And based on this line of code, that character, a capital T, will be stored in our variable ch. In this code, I've replaced the substring 0, 1 with I and I plus 1, meaning that I want to start at character I, stop one character after that, and since the second number, the stop index, is not inclusive, I will just get the character at spot I. The variable I is created and controlled with the loop. Notice that I starts at 0, so the first time through the loop, I am going to get the capital letter T. After we've been through the loop once, I increases because the loop says I++, and we take another substring. This time we're doing 1, 2 because our I value has gone from 0 to 1. Now, keep in mind that when we take this substring, we're saving the result in this variable ch. So the first time through the loop, ch was the capital T, and now it's being replaced the second time through the loop by a lowercase h. Each time we loop, that variable will get replaced with a new value. The third time through the loop, I becomes a 2, and we get the lowercase letter e saved in the ch variable. The next time through the loop, I becomes a 3, and we get the space between the and quick saved in the ch variable. The loop will continue and ch will keep getting replaced with the next character of the string until the loop stops. And if you look at the while condition for the loop, it says that we're going to keep looping as long as I is less than the length of the string. And length, by the way, is a method that you can call on a string that will return the number of characters it has. Keep in mind, though, that the less than sign is very important. If a string has 10 characters, the last index of the string is 9 because we start counting at 0. So saying I less than is very important. If you say less than or equal to, you'll get an exception thrown and your program will crash because you'll be accessing a character of the string that does not exist. Now we have the first part of our space counting algorithm, where we're using a loop to extract every character of the string one by one. The next step is to check that character, and if it's a space, count it. To finish coding our algorithm, I've added two things. First, at the beginning, I've created a new variable called space count and initialized it to 0. The job of this variable is to know how many spaces we have. And second, I've added an if statement. So immediately after extracting one character from the string, I ask a question about it. If it's a space, I increase space count by 1. And that's it. The only thing left to do to get my word count is to print line the number of words at the end. Let's look at another problem, replacing characters. The basic idea is that we want to take certain characters in a string and replace them with something else. In this case, we'd like to replace the spaces with asterisks. Now, we already know how to access each character using a loop, but one thing that we need to understand is that we actually can't change strings. They're immutable. Now, immutable is probably a new word for you, but mutable comes from the word mutate, which means change, and immutable means it cannot change. So we can't actually go through our string and change the characters. Instead, our algorithm is going to have to create a new string and put all of the characters, including the ones we want replaced, in it. Let's take a look at the algorithm. We're going to start by creating a new empty string, and that string will eventually hold the original string with all of the desired characters replaced. Now from here, we're going to access all of the characters of our original string one by one, and depending on what that character is, we will either add it to the new string or we will add an asterisk. So now let's unpack that and see how it works. The first step is to create a new empty string. Next, we'll go through the original string and access the characters one by one, and this is the exact same loop and substring that we used for the previous problem. Finally, we need to take a look at the character we've extracted. And if that character equals a space, we're going to add an asterisk to our new string. Otherwise, we're just going to add the character we extracted to the new string. Let's walk through our code step by step. The first time through the loop, we're going to extract the capital letter T, and we're going to check to see if it equals a space. It doesn't, so we're going to go to the else, and the else says we're going to change new string by setting it equal to what it was before plus the character we extracted. Well, new string was nothing, and so if we add the character we just extracted to new string becomes a T. Now, the second time through the loop, we extract the H character. And again, H does not equal a space, so we go to the else and we say new string changes to what it was before plus this H character. And so our new string is now TH. The third time through the loop, the exact same thing happens. E is not a space, and so we change new string by adding the character to it. But the fourth time through the loop, it's different, because the fourth time through the loop, we do extract a space, and since we extracted a space, we won't be doing the else, but we'll do the if, and the if says change new string, set it equal to what it was before, plus an asterisk. So in this way, we've replaced the space with the asterisk. And of course, the loop will continue, and every time it finds a space, it's going to add that asterisk. And by the time it's done, new string will contain the value that we want. Let's do an understanding check. On the right side of your screen, you see some code, and that code does something to the word hello. Pause the video, walk through the code, see if you can figure out what it does, and when you're ready, we'll chat about the answer. It turns out that this code reverses the string. Let's see how it works. We begin by making a variable new string 2 and setting it equal to quote quote, an empty string. We also make a variable text2 and set it equal to the word hello. Then we have a loop and a substring that goes through the word hello and extracts one letter each time through the loop, which will be stored in the ch variable. So each time through the loop, ch will be a different letter of the word hello. Now the reversal happens in the last line, where we say new string 2 equals ch plus new string 2. It can be a little confusing to see how that might work, so let's walk through it. The first time through the loop, ch is the letter h. and we add to it the value of new string 2, which is an empty string, and the result is h. So new string 2 is now an h. The second time through the loop, you can see the reversal actually happen, because the second time through the loop, the value of ch is the letter e, which we add to the existing value of new string 2, which is h, and we get eh. You can see the start of hello backwards. The third time through the loop, it's an L plus the EH, and we get LEH, and then LLEH, and finally OLLEH. And we can see how this reversal process happens. The key is that when we add the character, the letter, we do it first. If we were to add the CH after new string 2, in other words, if we were to reverse the order of the addition, new string 2 would just be the word hello spelled normally. But because we add the character first, we can get it to go backwards, and you can see why. Now that you've watched this lesson, you should be able to traverse the characters of a string using substring and a for loop, and also be able to manipulate strings to solve problems such as replacing or reversing characters.